When Olivia said she was going out for a girls' night, I didn't question it. After 3 years together, I thought we were past the stage of checking up on each other. She kissed me on the cheek, tossed her hair like always, and said she'd be home late. I remember smiling, telling her to have fun, and watching her walk out the door in that black dress she knew I loved. If I'd known what that night would bring, I would have never smiled back. It started with a message from my friend Chris around 9:30 p.m. He texted, "Bro, are you at Luna Lounge tonight?" I replied, "No, why?" His answer hit like a cold punch. "Pretty sure I just saw Olivia here. Not with her girls." I laughed at first, convinced he was mistaken. Olivia didn't even like that place. But a strange unease crawled under my skin. I opened her Instagram story. Just a short clip of clinking glasses, captioned "Girls' Night." Red heart, the lighting was dim, but one detail caught my attention. The reflection in the mirror behind her. A man's hand, resting on her shoulder. My chest tightened. I told myself it could be anyone, maybe a friend, maybe the bartender. But the more I stared, the less sense it made. The girls she usually went out with weren't in the video. Not one familiar face. 10 minutes later, I was in my car. I didn't have a plan, I just drove. Luna Lounge was only 15 minutes away, but the road felt endless. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. Every scenario ran through my head, each one worse than the last. When I finally pulled into the parking lot, I almost turned back. I didn't want to be that guy, the insecure boyfriend showing up uninvited. But something inside me said I needed to see for myself. The bass from inside was pounding through the walls. I pushed open the door and stepped into the swirl of music, laughter, and flashing lights. My eyes scanned the room, searching. And then I saw her. She wasn't with her girlfriends. She was sitting in a booth near the back, across from a man in a tailored gray suit. He was leaning in close, too close. She was laughing in that soft, shy way she hadn't laughed with me in months. Her hand brushed his arm, and he didn't move it away. For a second, I couldn't breathe. I just stood there, frozen, watching the woman I thought I knew become a stranger right in front of me. Chris spotted me and gave a slow, sympathetic nod from the bar. That confirmed it. I wasn't imagining things. This was real. I started walking toward them, each step heavier than the last. She didn't notice me until I was only a few feet away. The color drained from her face. "Ethan?" she stammered. The guy turned, eyebrows raised like he was confused by my presence. "Girls' night, huh?" I said quietly. My voice didn't even sound like my own. She opened her mouth, searching for words, but none came. The silence between us stretched until it hurt. The man cleared his throat, muttered something about giving us space, and slipped out of the booth. Olivia looked up at me, eyes glossy, panic flickering behind them. "It's not what it looks like." I almost laughed. It was exactly what it looked like. "I'll let you get back to your girls," I said, turning to leave. My throat burned, but I refused to let her see me break. As I walked out, her voice followed, a faint, trembling wait. But I didn't. Outside, the night air hit hard. I sat in my car, staring at the steering wheel, feeling a strange mix of anger and clarity. Sometimes the truth doesn't need words. It just sits there, unspoken, and wrecks everything you thought was real. That night, I didn't text her, didn't call. I just drove home, packed a small bag, and left. The silence that followed was louder than any argument we'd ever had. The next morning, my phone buzzed nonstop. Missed calls, messages. A few from Olivia, a few from friends asking what happened. I didn't answer any of them. I was sitting in a cheap motel on the edge of town, staring at a paper cup of coffee that had gone cold hours ago. When I finally opened her messages, they were all variations of the same thing. "Please talk to me. It's not what you think. We need to fix this." But nowhere in those messages did she say, "I didn't do it." That silence told me everything I needed to know. Around noon, she showed up at my place. I saw her car from the window, and for a second, I thought about not answering. But curiosity, or maybe closure, made me open the door. She looked smaller somehow, standing there with her hair tied back, makeup faded, clutching her phone like a lifeline. "Ethan, please," she started. "Can we talk?" I stepped aside without a word. She walked in like she was afraid of the floor breaking under her feet. "It wasn't what you saw," she said again, voice trembling. "He's just a friend from work. We were celebrating a promotion." "Olivia," I interrupted quietly. "Don't." She froze. I leaned against the counter, arms crossed. "You called it a girls' night. You lied before you even walked out that door. Don't make it worse by trying to rewrite it." Tears welled up, but I couldn't tell if they were from guilt or just the fear of being caught. "I didn't mean for it to look bad," she whispered. "It didn't look bad," I said. "It was bad." She went silent, the kind of silence that feels heavier than shouting. After a long pause, she said, "I've been unhappy, Ethan, for a long time. You don't talk to me anymore. You're always distant. I just wanted to feel wanted again." There it was, the truth dressed in justification. "So instead of talking to me, you went looking for attention somewhere else?" I asked. "You wanted to feel wanted, fine. But you never asked if I still felt wanted." She dropped her gaze. "I didn't think you cared anymore." I almost laughed again. That quiet, bitter laugh that comes when you realize the damage is done. "You didn't think, period." The space between us felt like miles. I could see her breaking, but I couldn't find any part of me that wanted to fix it. Love doesn't die overnight. It erodes slowly, one lie, one avoidance, one betrayal at a time. She reached for my hand. "Can we please start over? I'll do whatever it takes. I messed up, I know, but I don't want to lose you." I looked at her hand hovering in the air and then at the woman I used to believe in. "You already did." Her hand fell back to her side. The fight left her body all at once. After a long silence, she said softly, "So that's it." "That's it," I said. "Sometimes you don't need revenge. You just need to walk away." She nodded, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I never thought you'd actually leave." "I didn't either," I said quietly. "But last night, watching you laugh with him, it was like seeing my place in your life get erased. I was already gone. I just didn't know it yet." She left without another word. The door clicked shut behind her, the kind of sound that stays with you. Weeks passed. Friends tried to convince me to talk to her again. But I didn't. I focused on work, on getting my life back in order. And strangely enough, the silence that used to hurt started to feel like peace. One evening, Chris and I were out at a coffee shop when he handed me his phone. It was Olivia's social media profile. A new post. A picture of her at the same lounge, same booth, only this time alone. Caption: "Sometimes you lose what you took for granted." I stared at it for a moment, then handed the phone back. "Guess she learned," I said. Chris smirked. "Guess you both did." Driving home that night, I realized something I hadn't before. Closure doesn't always come with apologies or explanations. Sometimes it comes when you stop needing either. I rolled down the window, felt the cool air on my face, and smiled. Not out of happiness, but out of relief. Olivia was a chapter, not the story. And for the first time in a long time, I was ready to start writing the next one.